Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this mesh skirt beach cover up. It is a very simple, beginner friendly tutorial, so I'll walk you through everything. And we are going to use a 4mm hook, sewing scissors, a tapestry needle, stitch marker, also an 8mm hook. This yarn, it is medium weight, size 4, I guess, and this fuzzy yarn, I'm using black today, but it's definitely much thicker. That's what the 8mm hook is for, and yeah, it's size 6, super bulky. So let's get started. Okay, so to start my foundation chain, the first thing I'm going to do is make a slip knot. So to do that, I hold the yarn with my 2 fingers and my thumb like that, and then I wrap it around once, so there's kind of like an X, and then I go under the first one, over the second one, hook it, pull it through and twist, and then once that's on my hook, I take my fingers out and just tighten the 2 tails, and that's a slip knot. And then I'm just gonna start chaining until I feel like it might be the size that would go around my hips, and then I'm gonna measure it and either stop or keep going. Okay, so when you are done with your foundation chain, the way that I like to measure how it'll fit is I basically hold both the ends. They're not connected yet, but I hold them together with the same fingers as though they are. And then I just slip my elbow in through the little loop that it makes and hold it like that. And that'll show me how like my pants would fit pretty much. So like I said, we want this one to be looser since we're making a drawstring, so there's a little bit of space left open there, which is what I want. And then the next thing we're gonna do is make sure that when we do kind of connect them, we want all of the loops to be facing, or all of the stitches of the chain to be facing the same way. So we want all of these like V's, the side with the V's, to all be on the outside, and then this like bumpier side to be on the inside. So to do that, I'm just gonna like run it through my pointer finger and my thumb and just make sure that it's not twisted anywhere. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to insert my hook into that first chain that I made and do a slip stitch. So yarn over and then pull through both of the chain loops on my hook at the same time. Okay, and then from here we have what will be the waistline of the skirt. So I'm going to chain 3, and this is our first of what will be many double crochets. So we are going to put a double crochet into each of the chain spaces. So yarn over, put your hook into the very next chain space. So this is the one where we did the chain 3. So we're gonna put our hook into the one next to it, and then pull through. So you now have like 3 loops on your hook. So you're gonna yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2, and then do that again. So yarn over, put your hook through the next chain space, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So we're gonna do that in every single chain space until we get to the end. So I've now finished doing a double crochet in each of the chain spaces. So I did the last one here, and I'm just going to connect it back to the first double crochet that we did using a slip stitch. So I'm going to put my hook through that first double crochet stitch. So if you can see, the chain 3 is here, and then I'm just going to put it right here on top of the first actual stitch and just pull through. So now it closes perfect. It's like a little belt. So from here we are going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and put a single crochet into the third. So this is what that should look like. You have a little archway, which is gonna become a mesh print with 2 full stitches in between. And we're just gonna keep repeating that for the end of, or for the rest of this round. So when we end up back here, we will meet up again. So this is what it should look like when you're almost done with the first round. It just basically has these archways going all the way around. And then I'm gonna finish the row right here. So there's just one left. I'm gonna chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and then skip 2, put it in to the third. And I'm going to add my stitch marker here. So I'm gonna put it on the last loop or arch that I made in the row. Okay. And then from here, we're pretty much just going to do the same thing until the skirt is as long as you want it. So chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to put it in, or put your hook into the first space that you made and just single crochet into the space. So it's kind of building on itself now. And just keep doing that and going into the next space. So from now on, it's not really about stop or like ending and starting new rows. We're just gonna keep going into the next one in the round continuously, which is why it's helpful to have the space marker to kind of move it up as you go and know how much, or be able to count like how many rows you've done and where it stops and starts, even though you kind of can tell from the placement of this string when we first started anyway. But it's kind of helpful just to see it. So I will check in periodically with the work, but essentially it is the same thing from now on for a while until the skirt is about as long as you want it to be. Remember, we're gonna add the little fuzzy trim too, so that's gonna add a little bit of length too. So just account for that, but you are essentially just chaining 5 and then single crocheting into the next space for the rest of the skirt to make the length. Okay, so I've tried my skirt on and this is about as long as I want it to be before I put on the black trim. So I'm going to fasten off my yarn here. I'm just gonna tighten it and then do a chain 1. There's already a single crochet there from the last chain 5 that I attached. So I'm gonna do a chain 1, pull it out and like push it back at the same time to make it really tight, and then I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to make a slip knot with the fuzzy yarn. It's harder to see, but it's the same situation, which kind of goes for everything. So I'm gonna put my hook through one of the spaces and grab the yarn and just do 2 single crochets into each one of the spaces. So there's 1, and again, it's like harder to see what you're doing, but you're just doing the same exact thing. And then I'm gonna carry the tail of the yarn while I go and crochet over it so that it automatically gets woven in. So there's 2 single crochets in this space and then moving on to the next. I hope you can see or at least understand what I'm doing, because I know with this yarn it's like pretty much impossible to tell, but I'm literally just doing 2 single crochets in each one of these spaces. So pulling it through and then yarn over and pull through. When you're doing it, it feels much easier and familiar than trying to see it, but if your yarn is as fluffy as mine, you'll understand. And so that's it. I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around and then meet back up to make the drawstring that's going to go into here. So I'm almost done here with the black border, but I just wanted to also show you guys that as I'm going past where the tail of the white yarn is, I'm also just doing the same thing and crocheting over it so that I don't have to weave it in later. Okay, and then if it's sticking out a little bit, I'm just gonna cut that with my scissors later and go all the way till the end. Okay, now as I get to the end of this border, I'm gonna do my last one in the last space. And then I'm just going to do a slip stitch back into the first one so that I don't have this awkward gap. Or actually, I'll do a chain one. And then I'm gonna cast off the same way that I normally do, just by doing a chain one and then kind of pulling through and tightening it. And then I'm gonna have to weave this in later, which won't be fun, but whatever. Okay. And now before I get to that, I'm just going to show you how to make the drawstring for the top of the skirt. So it's super easy. You just make a slip knot and then literally just make a chain of however long you want, and I would recommend measuring it against your waist or around your waist or hips, wherever the skirt is gonna hit, and make sure that it goes around and that there's enough left to tie a bow at the end. So I will meet back up with you when I've done that. I'm not gonna go back in and do like a stitch in each one or anything like that. I'm just gonna leave it as the chain, bare bones. Okay, so I've now got my chain as long as I want it to be. I'm going to cut the yarn with a little bit of excess yarn on the end. And then from there, I am going to grab my tapestry needle and put the yarn through. And obviously it won't go past this, but you can just have it on like this with all of the chain on one side and then the excess yarn on the other side. And then I'm going to lay the skirt flat and I'm going to move my stitch marker and put it in the middle. I want this part for some reason to be like on the very side, even though it probably won't make much of a difference. And then I'm going to fold it in half to see where the middle is, because I don't like to measure things by counting or actually measuring. So this one I'm gonna say is the middle. Okay. So that means that if my stitch marker is here, I'm going to start weaving the drawstring in. I'm gonna count 2 on this side, and then it's going to end 2 on this side. So there's gonna be this little gap of like 5 double crochet stitches. So I'm gonna go in 2 to the left of my stitch marker, and then I'm gonna go under 3 stitches. Here, let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so I'll start again. The stitch marker is here. I'm going to start 2 to the left, go under 3, pull through. It shouldn't be hard to pull through. And then I'm going to go over 3, go back in, under 3, over 3. It kind of helps if I do a few at the same time, and then pull it through all at once. Pull through. Okay. Go back over 3, under 3, over 3, under 3. Go over 3, under 3, just like that until you reach the end. Okay, so if I were to go over another 3, it just wouldn't work out. So I'm going to leave it here and take out the stitch marker. So at this point, I'm pretty much done. I just need to weave in a couple of ends. So first, I'm gonna get this one, and I'm actually gonna use my smaller hook for it. I'm going to weave it in going away from the center, just so that it's not like centralized if it is somehow visible. And I'm just going to use this to kind of go back and forth and pull it through the yarn. So and then actually I'm just going to cut it here so that it doesn't show on the front. Okay, and then this I had already woven in, so I'm going to cut it. I added a new ball of yarn here, so this needs to be woven in. And this, and then I'm done. So if you also had to tie in a new ball of yarn, then it is kind of tricky to weave in using just these like little chains, but I'm just gonna go, let me zoom in a little bit. I'm just gonna go into the chain kind of like along wherever I can find to put it in, and then definitely take advantage of like the single crochet spaces, but just stick it wherever you can find and pray for the best. Okay, luckily with beachwear, I feel like things don't have to be super duper perfect. Like, let me see if I just stuck it through here. I feel like that's fine. Cut, and then the other side. And just do the same thing. I'm gonna try to go in the other direction. Here is the finished skirt, and I hope you enjoy. Oh, what's this? Okay, my bad. This is clearly woven in, so I'm just gonna cut it. How did I miss that? Okay. Here is the finished skirt. I'm so excited. I really like the white on black. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it out in the world. Bye bye.